Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday to you. I'm Rob Evans. Welcome to Daybreak Plus. We're breaking down all the news you may have missed overnight and digging deep into what matters to you. We begin with the President Donald Trump changing course on certain auto import tariffs. There's, of course, a massive, growing concern about rising prices that could lead to a recession. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington.
It was a rally pulled from the playbook of candidate Trump.
Hello, Michigan. Hello. We love you, Michigan.
Marking President Trump's 100th day back in office, a crowd of supporters in a Detroit suburb whose top employer is General Motors. It comes as automakers adjust to Trump's 25% tariffs on auto imports, expected to drive the price of a new car up by thousands of dollars within a year. But the president yesterday rolled part of those sweeping tariffs back, easing the tax on foreign auto parts used in vehicles assembled in the U.S.
If they can't make it in time because they have to do it here, otherwise they have it, I'm giving them a little bit of a break, right?
Trump's tariffs have impacted just about every sector, triggering an uncertain economic forecast. Americans' confidence in the economy has dropped to the lowest level since the early days of the pandemic, according to new numbers from the Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index. In an exclusive interview, ABC's Terry Moran asked the president about the impact of his escalating trade war with China.
It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat it.
That's mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States. And they were making from us $1 trillion a year. They were ripping us off like nobody's ever ripped us off. And by the way, we have other countries that were just as bad. If you look at the European Union, it was terrible what they've done to us. Every country, almost every country in the world was ripping us off.
Small businesses like this tea shop in Michigan are bracing for rising prices. The owner says there's a limit on how much of the extra cost she can pass on to her customers.
I don't think I can charge $75 for a 50-gram bag of tea, no matter how amazing that tea is.
Trump yesterday called Amazon's founder Jeff Bezos over the company's smaller division, Amazon Hall, considering displaying the cost of tariffs at the bottom of each product. Amazon later said that was never approved and is not going to happen. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Now, during that exclusive interview with ABC News, President Trump said he is delivering on his campaign promises. Well, KVUE's Isabella Basco talked to a former director for trade enforcement and a local restaurant owner as they watched the president's remarks.
Adam Weisberg owns 3 restaurants in Central Texas, including Zen Japanese Food Fast. When hearing about tariffs, he immediately felt
uncertainty. And as a business owner, like I've got a responsibility to my people, my family, just like everybody else. And uncertainty really brings anxiety, right?
During President Donald Trump's exclusive interview with ABC News, senior national correspondent Terry Moran asked our nation's leader about what he would say to Americans concerned about rising costs.
You said, quote, hang tough. It won't be easy. You said that to the American people.
China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States. And they were making from us $1 trillion a year.
But Weisberg isn't completely convinced.
I didn't really hear a plan. I heard some general thoughts, but nothing that was going to lead me in a direction, not a vision.
We took in a lot of money from tariffs.
Chris Seatman is a former director for trade enforcement under the Trump administration.
This is the time of greatest geopolitical upheaval in terms of the global trading system that we may see in our lifetimes. And as part of that, there's a dramatic shift. No matter what happens in terms of the day-to-day headlines, I think it's important to realize that we're not going back to the way that things used to be.
It's a reality that Weisberg isn't ready to come to terms with.
Without any of that understanding, it's really hard to get a pathway for the rest of this year as a business owner.
That was Isabella Basco. Now, during his interview, President Trump also said, as you heard earlier, that almost every country was ripping us off before tariffs. He says he's now taking a trade deficit down to a number that's starting to get, in his words, starting to get really good. Well, the federal government is closer to slashing grants that would have paid for a project to cover parts of I-35 with caps in Austin. Yesterday, the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee released a proposal that includes cutting neighborhood access and equity grants. Now, the city of Austin is expecting $105 million from that program. The money would go towards capping parts of I-35 with parks and outdoor dining spaces. A spokesperson for Austin Mayor Kirk Watson says the proposed cuts will face some challenges in the Senate, but it could still pass. It is now 7:06. Taking a look at weather and traffic with Casey and Hannah. Casey, how's it looking out there right now?
Another cloudy start to the day, but hey, we're currently pretty quiet, at least weather-wise, for the morning commute. We've been looking at just the occasional stray shower across the area, but yeah, another start like this. The clouds have since moved back in. Temperatures mild in the middle 70s. We do have some changes ahead, though, as we head into the afternoon. Notice we've already been tracking a little bit of actually rain now popping up out towards areas like Gillespie County, a little bit of lightning with that as well. We have some showers pushing into Mason County as well, and these are going to be a possibility through this morning, but the higher chances for showers and storms will arrive by this afternoon as this cluster of storms is currently focused out across the Texas Panhandle and North Texas will start to work its way southward with this low pressure system swinging through the northern half of the state. This will be producing the potential of seeing some strong, possibly isolated strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. We do have a level 1 out of 5 risk to see those across the KVUE viewing area. Notice that level 2 risk just clipping our northern counties. The better ingredients overall for anything reaching severe limits will be farther to the north of us, but we still could see some storms that do develop that could be capable of producing some hail along with some damaging to gusty winds and even the risk to see some pretty heavy downpours with maybe the occasional flood advisory across the area. So we could see some isolated showers, and as we're already starting to see a little bit of lightning in the mix through this morning. Our higher chance for any kind of thunder, some of the stronger storms though will arrive as we get closer to about 3, 4, 5 o'clock. A few of them will be clipping the metro area. We won't be looking at a complete widespread rain and storm chance, so not all of us receiving rain today, but we'll have more chances on the way as we head into your Thursday. Another cluster of showers and storms will be pushing through by late Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, and this again will be packing another punch in terms of some strong severe thunderstorms. In fact, a lot of fuel to work with for tomorrow's storms. We're warming things up to 92 degrees. It's going to be very humid as well. This comes out ahead of a cold front that'll be passing through on Friday and helping cool things down. So our first system exits, could see some additional strong severe storms for tomorrow. That front pushes through as we head into Friday, and I think Friday, as that front moves through, will be featuring our highest rain chance out of the entire week. Heavy rain, could see some stronger storms as this front rolls through. Before then, we'll start to see a drop in our humidity, a drop in our temperatures, and a little bit of a drop in our rain chances just in time for the upcoming weekend. Highs today, middle and upper 80s is where we're headed. 7-day forecast. Tomorrow we'll continue with that chance for some additional showers and thunderstorms. Friday, again, likely featuring the highest chance for rain out of the week. That front moves through, and then we'll start to see things dry out. The rain pushing south as that front does so as well. That'll be leading to some drier conditions by Saturday and Sunday. Notice we go from 92 degrees on Thursday back down to highs that'll be in the lower 80s, around average for this time of year for the weekend.
And those storms haven't gotten here yet, but we've been having kind of a tough time on the roads. I did want to give you an update, though, so that very serious crash that was developing near Yeager Lane, they were able to get those vehicles cleared out, so we do have a flow of traffic again. If you were traveling southbound on I-35 coming in from that Round Rock area, I know that was tough out there, but we're seeing some relief there. I do want to bring your attention to some breaking news in the Del Valley area. We have a crew on the way. APD has confirmed there is a school bus that was involved in a crash out there on Angel Drive. At this time, it sounds minor, but with possible injuries. But we really need to get eyes on this crash so we can learn a little bit more. But understandably, I mean, this is outside of that Del Valley Junior School, and all the Del Valley schools are in that area, and we're really hearing of some congestion out there. So we've got JP, our crew, is heading out there to hopefully give us a live picture of that. But once again, anytime involving a school bus, we really want to make sure all these kids are staying safe out there. So going to keep my eye on that for you. And then, of course, as I showed you there on I-35, traveling southbound, that cleared up, but quite a bit of debris out there. It's been really gusty on top of this being a work zone, so just be really careful out there today. We've got all kinds of things going on already. On top of that, we had a stalled vehicle a little bit earlier near Riverside Drive that was really, as you can see, still slowing things down across the water there. I mean, that area is already congested on a good day, so really feeling that in the main lanes on I-35 if you're traveling towards South Austin. And then, of course, we've got our typical morning rush in those northbound lanes as well. And then you can see we're kind of lighting up red across the map here with some slowdowns here and there. But once again, really going to focus in on this school bus crash in Del Valle and work to get all that information we can for you as soon as possible.
All right, Hannah, thank you very much for that. A big change is coming for one weight loss medication. For the first time, telehealth providers, Hims and Hers, LifeMD, and Ro are offering Wegovy in injectable pen form, the weight loss drug, of course. The maker of Wegovy says that this will simplify the process of getting the drug and make it a little more affordable for those without insurance coverage. Here's Dr. Tara Narula.
So essentially, for almost $600, you're getting access to the drug, access to 24/7 support with some sort of clinician, and online support around nutrition. Clearly, this is meant to streamline the process, to make these drugs more accessible, available, affordable for people, and really kind of a one-stop shop.
Now, consumers, you still have to get a prescription, and you have to pay a monthly subscription fee charged by your chosen telehealth provider to get that medication. All right, turning to social media is not the best place to get advice or information on medical issues. It's just not. A new study in the journal PLOS One, it's PLOS, found that more than 50%, more than half of ADHD content on TikTok is misleading. That should surprise no one, but people take it as gospel. Melissa Adon explains in today's Medical Minute.
ADHD is short for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. It's a common developmental disorder that affects focus, self-control, and impulsivity. About 5% of children and 3% of adults have it, according to the National Institutes of Mental Health. You can find a lot of videos on TikTok featuring ADHD-related advice, but that doesn't mean that information is accurate. In a new study, psychologists reviewed the top 100 most viewed TikTok videos shared with the ADHD hashtag, and only about 49% of the claims they made were accurate. Most symptoms were oversimplified or failed to explain how ADHD can vary from person to person. None of the video creators were licensed professionals like a doctor or psychologist, and more than 50% of them had financial incentives. People who self-diagnosed were more likely to trust the accuracy of the videos and overestimate how common ADHD is compared to someone who had been diagnosed by medical professionals or who didn't have ADHD. The study also found the young viewers who watched a lot of ADHD-related TikToks often recommended both the most and least accurate content to others, suggesting that they couldn't tell the difference between reliable and misleading information. If you suspect that you or your child may have ADHD, talk to a mental health professional to set up a proper evaluation. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
Always consider the source, right? Where you're getting the information from. And speaking of the source, artificial intelligence is getting smarter, and so, unfortunately, are scammers. They're using powerful AI voice cloning apps to mimic someone you trust to pull off a very convincing scam. Consumer Reports investigates the rise of deepfakes, and Jenny Lee shows us how these high-tech scams work and what you can do to protect yourself and your family.
Deepfake technology is getting more convincing every day. Ben Coleman, the head of a deepfake detection company, says it is the #1 digital risk people should be worried about.
Over the last few years, there's been an explosion of calls claiming that we have your daughter. She's in trouble, send money or else. Well, what's happened more recently is the call comes in and says, we are your daughter. Hi, I'm your daughter. I'm in trouble. Send money right now.
So what exactly is a deepfake and how does it work?
A deepfake is taking anyone's likeness, whether it's their face, a single image from LinkedIn or online, or a few seconds of audio, and using a pre-trained model, replicating their likeness to make them say or do anything you want.
These deepfakes are so advanced, it's even hard for experts to tell the difference. What's worse, there are no federal laws to stop someone from cloning your voice without your permission. Consumer Reports reviewed 6 popular voice cloning apps, uncovering a troubling trend.
So 4 of the 6 apps had no meaningful way to ensure that the user had the original speaker's consent to voice clone them. And the 2 other apps were better, had more safeguards, but we found ways around them.
While it's virtually impossible to erase your digital footprint, CR says there are some steps you can take to protect yourself.
So the first thing is just knowing that deepfake scams like this exist. The second thing is using 2-factor authentication on all of your financial accounts. That means having an extra security feature on your smartphone device that requires you to input a security code or respond to an email when trying to gain access to your bank accounts. And then the third thing is just being wary of calls, any type of texts or any type of emails that are asking you for your personal financial information or just personal data.
And finally, do a gut check. Does what you're hearing or seeing make sense?
By default, you should not believe anything you see online. You should always kind of follow just standard common sense.
Ginny Lee, KVUE News.
Good advice there. Don't believe what you see online. We leave you this morning with something to talk about in North Texas. A semi-truck crashed. Okay, it was a mess. But what was on the semi-truck is really the story. It was filled with coins, millions of dollars worth of dimes, all across the road. Officials say it was, well, millions of dimes, I should say, not millions of dollars worth of diamonds. $800,000 worth of dimes, which is, millions of dimes, worth of freshly minted dimes, brand new. The giant piggy bank, basically, look at this, shut down the highway for hours, causing major traffic delays. The dimes, again, you can see there, took hours to clean up. They used big old vacuums like that one there. They used all rakes. They even used their hands to sift through the dirt. Amy Vasquez was driving by and saw all the money. Take a listen.
I thought they would have probably thought of a smarter way of picking it up. I almost came out here with a bucket so I could fill it up with some dimes.
It's a lot of work for dimes. I mean, it's how much are you really going to get out of that? But the driver and passenger of the semi-truck are expected to be okay, and there are probably a lot of dimes left there going on this morning for quite some time. That's it for Daybreak Plus, by the way. Let us know what you would like to talk about. Message us at 512-459-9442. Would you stop for dimes? Would you stop for quarters even? I mean, dollar bills, I think most people would, but let us know what you want to talk about in general. You can also message me on social media at Rob Evans TV, on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, again, at Rob Evans TV. And stick around because Daybreak continues right here on KVUE Plus. Goodbye, everybody.